Series was created for school purposes. The Good Eats theme song or the producers of Good Eats were never involved with Kid Chef or the production of it. And I'm using the Good Eats theme song because I couldn't find a better one. Kid Chef! Welcome back to Kid Chef. It's the 4th of July, and a lot of foods are classic, but my favorite are barbecue wings. We're going to make our own today, so we're going to start out by making my signature barbecue sauce. Right now, in this pot, I have half a cup of water, and we're going to add to that a half cup of ketchup, and 2 tablespoons of molasses. Molasses is a very sweet and sticky ingredient, so always be careful and don't let it get all over the place. This is going to add a lot of sweetness to our sauce. Also going to add 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. You remember this from our beef episode. This is going to add some smoky flavors to our sauce. We're just going to put a bunch of ingredients in it, make a big medley of deliciousness. And now we're going to add 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar. This ingredient is like vinegar, but it's a little more sharp, and it'll balance out most of the sweetness that we're putting into our sauce. And we're also going to add 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And it's important not to put spicy mustard because we're not trying to make a spicy barbecue sauce. It's not coming out. Alright. And in goes the mustard. And now we're going to add a little more sweetness. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of firmly packed light brown sugar. Light and dark brown sugar are 2 different things. So always make sure that you're using light brown, because dark brown sugar contains more molasses, so it's going to be a little sweeter, but light brown sugar has a little less molasses. And now to add our seasonings. I have here garlic powder, and we're going to add a ½ teaspoon. Garlic is one of my favorite seasonings because it has a very good flavor for any dish, and it's always in Italian foods. So Italian restaurants are fun to go to because they always have garlic. And we also have a ½ teaspoon of kosher salt. Now, salt brings out the flavor, but you don't want to add too much because then the salt flavor will overpower everything else. Always remember this. You can always add more salt, but you can't take it out. So now that we have everything in, we're going to give it a quick stir. And then turn the heat on. Turn it on to a high heat and just stir, stir, stir. Keep stirring until all the mustard and ketchup are not in big globs, but they are incorporated into the other ingredients, and it's a fine sauce. And then around that time it should start to bubble. So turn your heat down to a simmer for about 5 minutes or so. And stir occasionally at that time. And now that our barbecue sauce is cooked, let's taste it. I like to use a spoon like this because the edges are rimmed up higher, so none of the sauce can get out. Oh man! You can taste everything. The smokiness of the Worcestershire and all the sweetness, and the salt really adds flavor to it. And the vinegar balances it out really nicely. So now I have about 2 pounds of chicken wings. If you want the drumsticks on or off, it doesn't really matter. And we're just going to pour the sauce over it. Make sure that sauce gets on every wing so that you can infuse as much flavor from the sauce as you can. And now we're going to take this oven is extremely hot, 425 degrees. Put our pan right in the middle and set our timer for 45 minutes. And when it's done, you are going to have an awesome 4th of July. And then just cut it into sticks. Simple. So we're just going to do a bunch of these and put it into this bowl. You have to be so very careful when doing this. Because you're not only cutting this, you're trying to hold the celery. You have to be so extremely careful when cutting them. So now we're going to start making our ranch dressing. I have here 1 tablespoon of freshly minced chives that we're going to put into our bowl. And I also have 2 tablespoons of freshly minced dill. It has a really nice smell. Pickles have dill in them, and that's why they're so popular. They have this strong, delicious flavor of dill. And I also have garlic paste. It's 1 clove of garlic, and that's minced, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then you mash it with a fork until it looks about like this. And put it into our bowl. And I have here 1 cup of mayonnaise. It's kind of hard to get out. That's why I have a spoon. We also have a 1/2 cup of sour cream. And one of the most important ingredients, 1/3 cup of low-fat buttermilk. Buttermilk is gives it a tanginess that's also kind of helping it thin out the sour cream and mayonnaise. So we're going to put it in. And here I have my friend Mr. Whisk. And he is going to help us mix our dressing. And it's kind of thick, So don't be surprised if it gets caught in the whisk. You have to whisk it hard. And if you think it's a little sour, you could add a tablespoon of sugar. So now, let's taste a little bit. The dill adds the flavor to the tangy buttermilk, and then the mayonnaise with sour cream really makes it a very rich and complete dip for our veggies. Now let's see what it tastes like. The carrot adds another level of sweetness and crispness. So now, we're going to throw our ranch in the fridge for about 30 minutes or so, until it's nice and cold. Let's check on our wings, shall we? Oh man, those look good. So, there are about 30 minutes left, so just hang tight. We've waited our 45 minutes, now it's time to get to the good part, eating. So let's get our wings out of the hot box. Again, very, very hot, be very careful. Always wear oven mitts. And then take them out, let them cool. And while we're letting it cool, we're going to get out our ranch. So let's open up our chill chest. And what I like to do before we serve the ranch, add some freshly ground black pepper with my newfangled new device called the pepper mill. Just 2 or 3 cracks should do it. And then give it another whisk. And once these wings cool, we're going to have ourselves a party. So let's get a couple of wings on the plate. Now that our wings are cooled, let's eat them. The sweet and sharp flavors of the sauce with tender white meat chicken create the ultimate food. And then the perfect add-on is cold, creamy crispness of carrots and ranch. And wings are sort of a finger food. So just eat them however you like. And did you know that they were invented at the Super Bowl? They were a perfect invention. Happy 4th of July, and see you next time on Kid Chef.